Hello, fellow grognards. Al here. We're going to have a look at Striketeam Commander, which is the latest game from TT Combat, who bought the Commander series a number of years ago after Hawk Games got in trouble following the Kickstarter for Drop Fleet Commander. And TT Combat took it over, and now they've made a 30 mil game, basically. There's actually two games. Striketeam Commander is like a one squad game, and then Battlezone Commander is basically a bit more than skirmish, but not quite a full war game by the looks of things. So I thought we'd have a look, because I think that TT Combat have made some mistakes in this Kickstarter, and I'm going to point them out, because I do want to cover it, because it might well be worth looking into. Whatever the value on the game is, I think mistakes have been made in this Kickstarter, and I'm going to point them out. So, you've got two games here, as I say. You've got Striketeam Commander, which is where you literally have a team of dudes, and it's all personalised and stuff like that. And then you have Battlezone Commander, which is your bigger game, where you've got vehicles and stuff, in the actual game. As I say, it doesn't look to be huge. It's like a couple of squads in a vehicle. Think kind of like second edition 40k. But let's have a quick look at the pledge levels, because this is one thing this is their first mistake, in my opinion. What they've done is they've done a Striketeam Commander pledge. It's 65 quid. You get 20 figures. You get your mat. You get a rulebook, cards, tokens, and dice. 65 quid. It's not cheap, but plastic is not cheap, and they need to work on it. Plastic sprues cost a lot of money at the end of the day, even though these have been made by War Games Atlantic. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So you get 20 models. There are some stretch goals. They don't seem to have added those in yet. But you get your 20 models. You get multi-posable models for this one. It says deluxe double-sided map, signed rulebook, Kickstarter exclusive. Nice. So you've got multiple assembly options. You've got some renders here. Yep, looks quite nice. Excellent. They look well sculpted. They're a step up. I like the fact that it's proper scale. These aren't like Warlord Games models where they've got the heroic scale with huge heads and huge hands and everything. I like that. I think that's well done. Now we're going to get to Battlezone Commander, which is also £65 for 54 models. 20 Scourge and 4 Scourge Eviscerators, 20 UCM and 6 UCM Praetorians, and 4 UCM Hazard Suits. That's a hard sell now, isn't it? You doubly need to be explaining why this, you get less than half of what you get in this, but it's the same price. And I know these are multi-part plastics, and you can do different options. It's not the point. Even if these are single pose, push fit plastics, you have to justify that, and they haven't, from what I can see here. They're even calling this a deluxe battle mat. So how is that better than this? The value is not here. People will not see the value here. So a quick look and see. 122 backers, 89. That's really surprising that more people have backed this than that. That's really surprising to me. And then you've got the faction ones that we'll get into in a minute. But anyway, yeah, how do you see the value in this compared to that? That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, we'll carry on. So, yeah, single pose, push fit models. I still think they look absolutely fine. When on the battlefield, you're not going to notice a difference. This is the thing that GW need to be doing. Very simple troop models to encourage people to buy. Every faction should have these, I think, especially the Horde factions. Otherwise, Horde armies just aren't tenable. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so we get into faction commanders. So, faction commander, an extra $5, and basically it's a one-player starter. So you get your 20 models and an extra bit. So basically you get a core troop bundle, which we'll get into in a minute, and all the bits that you need. So this is just a one-person starter, basically. You and the mate get this, you play the game. We'll get into that in a sec. If you want everything, 800 quid for you. I wonder how many people have gone for that. Retailer, 24. Balls deep. I appreciate your commitment. But in all honesty, if you was to sort of split this with friends, if you get friends like to put 100 quid in each, you're all going to be able to play. So yeah, maybe they've done that. Or maybe they're just ludicrously rich. So yeah, you get basically everything, apart from the dice, I think. Retailer standard. So there's your gameplay. Click on the following to watch our how to play for Striketeam Commander and Battlezone Commander. I'll look at those later and maybe do an in-depth thing. I don't think we need to watch them now. I mean, well, you see it's D6 based straight away. There's nothing but D6s there. You still use a tape measure. I can't imagine this breaking the mold, as it were. So they've taken. I mean, the models look nice. That looks cool. I mean, I look at that and I'm just like, yeah, that's great. What is it? Not everybody's going to know. And they're doing some lovely pre-printed terrain, like GW did with that one box. So that's very good. So you've got your rule books. No, not a download. And there's miniatures. So I'm guessing Scourge, Posthuman, Shotari, obviously. So that's got to be UCM. Or Resistance. And then that'd be Biophysers. No, because there's 6 factions, so there's 1 missing there. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, the models look nice. There's your faction focuses if you want to see what factions you got. And here's your bundles. 60 quid gets you 30 models. It's not terrible, but it's not cheap. It's more expensive than Mantic, but then in my opinion, these models are nicer than Mantic. It's a bit cheaper than GW. I mean, GW you pay what? 100 quid. You get, probably around about that many models, I guess. So yeah, it's about a third cheaper than GW, which isn't bad. But some of these I do not think are great. So, and that's with a discount as well. So 40 quid gets you 15 models. Again, that's like, oof. Especially when it's 3 of the same model in each box. You get this 5 individual models, and you get 3 copies of each. And then there's your Praetorians, 30 quid for 10, which, again, isn't far off GW prices. And then 30 quid for 4 hazard suits, which is GW prices. So, yeah. And then your characters are resins. They're not too bad, 8 quid each. This is what I thought was quite impressive. I don't know how they've done this. They've scaled up. I mean, I know how they've scaled up. That's not hard. But I don't know how they've managed to get that resin tank down to 25 quid. That would be a solid chunk of resin. And resin is not that cheap. So 25 quid, that's a really good price. And 30 quid for that even is a really good price. It'd be nice if they put a figure to it for scale. But, the figure should be about, sort of from the bottom of the wheels to this first bit here. So yeah, I mean, unless these are underscaled, these are good prices for big chunky resin models. You get your dyes and your paints, and 15 quid for 10 paints. I've not tried the TT paints, so I don't know how good they are. And then the Scourge, and it's the same kind of thing. 60 quid for your bundle, 40 quid for your 15 models, and then 30 quid for 4 larger models. 30 quid for 4 worms, That's a little bit more of a hard sell, I think. I think that's an expensive thing. And then, yeah, it's just the same over and over again. Upscaled models from the Drop Fleet, not Drop Fleet, Drop Zone Commander game. And then, yeah, again and again and again. But here, I mean, that bundle makes it look like it's 4 of the same model. 4 of the same model. I mean, it says here, alternate build pose options available, but is it still the base? I mean, are all those bodies going to look exactly the same? You just get different things. This information isn't here. And when you're asking people to pledge, you need to. That looks nice. That's a nice looking model. But again, are all the bodies on these 8 models the same? You need to have this information. Large mech, 35 quid, that's cool. Yeah, that's awesome in resin. Again, I'm not sure if they're using some kind of real cheap resin or something, but that's pretty good. I used to cast resin models. I know how much resin costs. It's not that cheap. When you bring in the potential for miscasts and things like that, which obviously you try and keep down to a very, very low level, like 5% or something, resin casting is not a cheap thing to do. And then you've got the resistance, and yeah, the resistance are cool. Get serious tunes to the cult vibes off that. And then the Sheltari, and all your factions here basically, and your Biophysers. The terrain is pretty cool. You've got the Chroma terrain, but again, you've got like 140 quid for your ruins, 80 quid for your ruins that aren't pre-printed. So pre-printed, not pre-printed. you've got the quick build version. And what the quick build version, as far as I can tell, is just like a there's no 3D detail. It's just printed. But again, a bundle that did two start sets, and this all together, might have been a good idea. That's what I would have chucked that in there. And then you've got Kickstarter exclusives for people who want this, and some of this is random as hell. Got these from Drop Zone Commander. I don't know what they're doing here. Drop Fleet Commander. I don't know what they're doing here. It's a bit weird. Just have them on the shop. The 2-ups I kind of get, but the rest of it, I just if you can't use it in the game, display pieces only. It seems a bit pointless. Then some more characters, pretty cool. And then they've got through some stretch goals. But what they've not got through is a lot of stretch goals. They've broken their target, which is good. They've hit their target of, so their target was 50 grand. They've made 82. There's 12 days still to go. 393 backers. This is not a particularly healthy Kickstarter, in my opinion. It's good that they've made their target. I like TT Combat and what they're doing, and I like that there's another alternative to GW. But what there is not enough of here is a reason, and I still can't believe that this is sold more than this, to be honest. It's crazy. A reason to back this over this, in my eyes, multi-part models just it's not it's not really enough. Enough details on the products in general. Clear shots of the actual models. If you look, this is it. This is all we get, and these are probably like resin masters or something. To be honest, the models are made by War Games Atlantic. War Games Atlantic average 20 models for £20. That's how much you would look to pay for a box of War Games Atlantic models. So these being twice the price, we kind of need to know why, especially when there's only 5 on a sprue and it's reprints. I've got 3 sprues in there. So yeah, we need more picks of more models, and on top of that, I think we need more game details. It's all very well. We'll have a quick look. Let's just see what comes up. Okay, let's have a quick look at Battle Zone.
How to move.
2-minute video. I think we'll be alright.
Squads move all as a single unit. When moving a squad, firstly move the leader before moving all squad mates into their coherency distance. Make sure you use your tape measure to accurately track your available distance. As long as they end their move in coherency of their squad leader, the squad won't suffer any penalties. If you can't move the squad into coherency, you'll be facing a lot of problems later in the game. How to shoot. When a squad makes a shooting action, they make attacks with each weapon type they have, with each model in that squad attacking with a single weapon. To start shooting, pick one of the weapon types you're going to be attacking with, for example, the humble UCM assault rifle. Any enemy squads with models in line of sight can be targeted by the assault rifle attacks. As the attack is happening at long range, each attacker contributes 1 dice to the damage total. Once you've totaled up all of your attack dice, it's time to make a shooting roll. Roll all of the dice and add the weapon's energy to the results. Any attack that scores at least the armor of the target scores a hit. The target rolls a save for each of the hits suffered. Then each remaining hit deals its damage to a model until either no hits remain or no models remain. How to damage vehicles. Dealing with vehicles in Battle Zone Commander doesn't have to be daunting.
They are a little bit smaller, aren't they?
Each has its own facings which can be attacked and when damaged cause detrimental
effects. Resin.
Vehicles have a damage chart commanders use to keep track of damage dealt. When attempting to damage a vehicle, you'll need to target one of its facings. Taking out as many facings as possible is imperative for destroying a vehicle. Once a vehicle has had half or more of its facing destroyed, the vehicle is destroyed. Each facing corresponds to a damage location on a vehicle's damage table. Once all the damage boxes on a location have been checked off, that location has been destroyed. If a destroyed location has a corresponding crippling effect, the vehicle suffers that effect. You may not need to completely destroy a vehicle if you can render it immobile or take out all of its weapons.
That seems, fairly standard. If the Striketeam Commander's that short, we'll have a quick look at that one as well. 3 minutes. We'll get away with it.
How to move in Striketeam. Movement can be made more than once each activation. A squad member can move up to a number of squares equal to their move stat. A squad member can move in any direction, may stop mid-move,
That's
make another
grid-based.
action, and then continue to move. A square is adjacent to all squares surrounding the moving miniature. A squad member that is adjacent to an enemy cannot move to any space, which would mean they are no longer adjacent to that enemy. Squad members can only be placed in and moved onto complete squares. Squares can only be occupied by a single squad member, and squad members cannot move through occupied squares unless otherwise specified. Models on a 50mm base take up 4 squares in a 2x2 pattern, but still move 1 square at a time. How to shoot.
Do like the artwork.
To make a shooting action, select an enemy squad member in line of sight. Roll a number of dice equal to a weapon's attack. Then add the energy of the weapon to each dice roll. Each roll which scores higher than the target's armor is hit. The defender then rolls a number of dice equal to the hits scored. For each roll equal to or greater than the defender's save value, reduces the number of hits by 1. When you make a shoot action, if the target is within 2 squares of the attacker, they make a close range attack and use the second energy on the weapon's energy stat.
I wonder if that's
Any
the same for
unsaved
the
hits
other one.
that had a
Battlezone.
score of at least double the target's armor value is an instant kill. Once damage is dealt, a squad member must carry out a combat pressure test. How cover works. Cover is a key aspect of Striketeam and is one of the easiest ways to keep your squad members alive. The cover is split between solid cover and traversable cover. Solid cover is any object with this symbol, whilst cover with this symbol is traversable. If a line of sight passes through solid cover, it cannot be targeted. If the line of sight passes through traversable terrain, the target of the attack increases its armor by 1 and improves its save by 1.
Okay, that's pretty standard. Yeah, it works.
How to throw grenades. If a squad member is equipped with grenades, they may make a throw grenade action. There are multiple types of grenades, each with different effects. When making a throw action, select a square within 5 squares of the squad member and place the grenade token, then apply the effects of the grenade types. Frag grenades make an attack with a weapon with the area special rule. This is centered on the grenade token. Smoke grenades make all squares within 2 squares of the token become solid cover for the purposes of line of sight.
I like that. That's cool.
Flashbangs cause any squad member within 4 squares of the grenade token to immediately gain a broken token. Incendiary grenades leave an area of effect. For the next 3 activations, any squad member that moves into the radius, starts its activation, or completes an action within the radius suffers an energy 4 hit.
Okay, so that's fairly standard, I suppose. Yeah, not bad. I mean, yeah, it looks standard. I mean, it's more like a board game, being on a grid and everything, honestly. So, I mean, would I say it's worth pledging for? I mean, yeah, this looks like a complete game. I think it would have been nice. Obviously, I mean, yeah, it's a long way away. Is it like March next year? Yeah, March next year. So I think that maybe, I suppose what you would look at is, and I think they've already added a couple of little bits to this already. Let's have a quick look at the stretch goals, because what they've done is done stretch goals for each thing. So in the starter boxes, you get a Resin Scourge Eviscerator, and you get another hazard suit. So it's an extra 2 models for your 2 starter boxes. And then each of the core boxes has had an extra commander added into it. So you get your 20 models, your 4 specials, and your commander. So they've had a little bit of value there. This is all still a long way away. I imagine they will unlock these. Those are only for Battlezone, which is interesting, not for Striketeam. So, I mean, yeah, with this looking more like a self-contained board game option, and it's a shame we didn't see any actual pictures of the models and stuff, because we might have seen what the board looked like, whether this is cardboard or paper or whatever. Maybe this is the more appealing option. This looks more like a self-contained thing, but it's only Scourge versus UCM. So if you was to pick up this, could you take models from this and use them in Striketeam Commander? So I don't know. The rules for Striketeam Commander look very cool. The vehicle rules in Battlezone look cool, but I think what people might be looking at is the fact that this is 65 quid, and this seems to be nearly completely self-contained as a game you can just play. So you've got the card, you've got the book, all that kind of stuff, and then presumably you just get like a set of dudes separately, and because they're multi-part, there'll be 10 dudes for 25, maybe even the 30 quid. I don't know, because I think it would be nice to see more information regarding around what these would be, the different options and stuff. Is it just a case because the plastic munitions come with multiple assembly options? Does that mean you just a different gun, different arms? What's going on here? Is this discounted from what the retail price is going to be? I can't imagine the retail price is going to be any more than this. So would you pay more at retail? These are the questions that I think they could have done with answering to push more pledges. I don't think this Kickstarter is doing particularly well. I may well keep an eye on it. It's got 12 days left to go. Yeah, this would be my question. There are painted minis for tanks and infantry in the new video. Why aren't they on the campaign page? Okay, it kind of makes sense. They're the same in both pledge manuals. So they're just paper. Oh no, it's a very thin cardboard. So I had that cityscape. I understand the faction boxes can be used in it, but do they come with the cards to play it? We will make printable cards for compatible new release. Otherwise, the cards are required to own the starter box. So you need to get the starter box to play Striketeam. Yeah, I don't think it's doing all right, but it's going to be in the lull period now. You have a good start, you have a bit of a lull, and then the last 48 hours it goes. You get a bit mad. So Swackus is maybe getting 200k. Don't know if Kick Tracker would say otherwise. Yeah, I mean, it looks all right. This being a self-contained thing is quite interesting. That may be why it's got more backers. It's not by a lot though. It's like 20 more. This is literally just a starter. They say you need 10 each. I mean, this looks self-contained. If you're playing with 10 models each, you get 10 models each and a couple of extras like the heavy dudes that have been added to this, then I think that's self-contained. That's why people have gone for it. This generally does seem like more of a starter box, and you're going to want to add vehicles and things like that. So maybe that's why it's not got the same number. And then, so the amount of backers is fairly similar across the board, apart from obviously the huge things. So you've got 121 here, you've got 89 here, and you've got 124 here. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't think it's been particularly well run, the Kickstarter. I think there's a lot of information there that could have been added in. FAQ. What it's made from. What was it set in stone? No, they're going to be added on. All games be available in other languages. Yeah, that's an interesting one. As I say, this is more almost like a board game. I do like the vehicle rules in there. The vehicle rules in this much better than what GW are doing. Armor facing. You have to break through the armor facings. I think that's a good idea. I do think it means you would laminate these cards. But again, are you saving any money? Is this the retail price? More pictures and models needed. I understand that maybe they've just been literally upscaling the old models and they don't have many. But in that case, maybe you don't launch the miniature game like this. At the very least, show off more renders and stuff, or have subject to change, or make these bigger or something. I mean, there's no way of Yeah, it looks alright. Vehicles are still quite a surprising price, even if the model stands nearly as high as that, which it looks like it does. The whole vehicle. That's still a big chunk of resin. Still a big old chunk of resin. But it doesn't look like the vehicles are to scale properly. I don't know if that'll bother people. Yeah, interesting. I think the models are expensive, especially considering War Games Atlantic offers so much more for so much less. But we need, we need more information. What other parts and poses do you get? These all look the same. Every single one of these looks the same. Are you getting, the same body with just different arms? This is all information I would want to have answered. And at the moment, if I'm looking at this, the Kickstarter exclusive Dave Lewis signed rulebook, nice as it is, and the one extra model that's currently been added to this box would not be enough to sway me from going, well, maybe I'll just wait for it to come from retail. It'll get 10% off from a third-party discounter, and I'll get it there once it's a proved game. You're asking people to basically, at this stage, almost back a concept with much of what could change, and I'm not sure it's there. And I think maybe that's why it's not hit the levels that I thought it would do. But you know, hey, guys, let me know what you think. As I say, I want to offer alternatives to 40k. This is still a year out at the end of the day, but I mean the rules look okay. It looks like it plays quite fast. You know, just having a roll to wound and a roll to save will speed the game up. The vehicle rules look fine. It looks like it'll be nice and tactical. Striketeam Command, I really like the grenade styles and everything. That look really cool. We don't know a lot more than that, unfortunately, at the moment. Downloadable, even if it's just a quick player's guide of the rule books, would have been quite nice. But yeah, I certainly feel like a couple of mistakes were made here, and I don't know if it's attractive enough at the moment to stop you from just going to retail. Anyway, I have talked about this for long enough. Let me know what you think, guys, and I will catch you later. Bye.